One fan letter changed Rebecca Schaeffer's life. One reply. One signed photo. To Rebecca, it was nothing more than a kind gesture to a fan. To Robert John Bardo, it was proof they were meant to be together. From that moment on, he stopped seeing her as a celebrity. He started seeing her as his girlfriend. In 1986, Bardo was 16 years old, living in Arizona, and already struggling with severe mental health issues. He'd developed an unhealthy pattern of becoming obsessed with young actresses, convincing himself they shared a special connection. Then one evening, he saw 19-year-old Rebecca Schaeffer in a commercial for the new sitcom My Sister Sam. Everything changed. He watched every episode, recorded them on VHS, played them back over and over. Rebecca slowly became the center of his world. Eventually, he wrote her a fan letter. Weeks later, an envelope arrived. Rebecca had written back. She thanked him for the thoughtful letter, called it one of the nicest she'd received, and included a signed photograph. To Rebecca, it was simple kindness. She probably forgot about it by the next day. Bardo never did. He read the letter again, and again. He stared at the photograph for hours. Then he convinced himself of something Rebecca had never said. She cared about him. So he wrote another letter, then another, and another. When no reply came, he started calling the television studio, hoping she'd answer the phone herself. She never did. Most fans would have moved on. Bardo became even more determined. At 17, he flew from Arizona to Los Angeles carrying flowers and a giant teddy bear, convinced Rebecca would be happy to finally meet him. Security stopped him before he even reached the studio gates. He flew home disappointed. A month later, he came back. This time, carrying a knife. Again, security turned him away. Still, he refused to let go. Then Rebecca's sitcom was cancelled. Her career, however, was only getting bigger. In 1989, Bardo watched one of her new movies. Halfway through, Rebecca appeared in a romantic scene with another actor. Bardo wasn't watching a movie anymore. He believed he was watching the woman he loved cheat on him. That single scene shattered the fantasy he'd spent years building. In his mind, Rebecca deserved to be punished. He hired a private investigator to find her home address. When a gun store refused to sell him a handgun because of his mental health history, he convinced his older brother to buy one instead. Then, he boarded a bus to Los Angeles. That same morning, Rebecca was waiting for a script to arrive for an audition for The Godfather, Part 3, a role that could transform her career. When the doorbell rang, she smiled, expecting the delivery driver. Instead, she found a stranger holding the old autographed photo she'd mailed years earlier. "I'm your biggest fan," he said. Rebecca thanked him politely, but explained she was busy and closed the door. Bardo walked away. He even stopped at a nearby diner. But the more he replayed that conversation in his head, the more rejected he felt. Eventually, he stood up, left the diner, and walked back to Rebecca's apartment. He knocked again. Rebecca answered. "You again?" Before she could close the door, Bardo pulled out the handgun. He fired, then fled back toward Arizona. The next day, police found him running down a highway, screaming, "I killed Rebecca! I killed Rebecca!" He was arrested and sentenced to life in prison. Rebecca Schaeffer was only 21 years old. All because one act of kindness was mistaken for love.